You stand at the edge of a cliff. Below, a thick gray fog swallows the horizon, hiding whatever lies at the bottom. You were born. You breathe. One day, you will cease to be. This is the only certainty you possess. Everything else, the why, the how, the what for, is a silence that screams. You look down, searching for a sign, a marker, or a path, but the mist offers nothing. You shift your weight, expecting the rock beneath your boots to hold, but the sensation of stability begins to fray. It is not that the cliff is crumbling. It is that the very idea of a foundation feels suddenly, violently thin. You are suspended between the reality of your own pulse and the vast, uncaring expanse of the unknown. You are alone at the edge of existence, and for the first time, you realize that the silence is not a lack of sound. It is a presence. You look away from the fog, back toward the world you left behind. You see them, millions of people, frantically filling the silence with noise. They build cathedrals of belief, stone by stone, desperate to drown out the scream of the void. They write laws of morality, etching them into tablets as if the universe itself were listening. They cling to the comfort of a grand design, telling themselves that their suffering has a purpose and their joy has a destination. They build these structures to convince themselves that they are not standing on the same ledge you are. But ask yourself, can you prove any of it? You watch them recite their scripts, perform their duties, and repeat their traditions. Each ritual is a brick, each prayer a mortar, meant to seal the cracks in their reality. They are terrified of the space between the stars. They treat these inherited stories like iron shields, believing they can deflect the cold, vast truth. The paint is peeling. The foundations are built on sand. You realize that these traditions are fragile, temporary barriers. They are not living. They are hiding. You turn your gaze back to the path you once walked. The promotion, the accolades, the social approval, they are still there, but they have changed. You reach out to touch the life you built, and your hand passes through it like smoke. The weight of your goals dissolves. What you once chased with such frantic intensity now looks like shadows cast against a wall, flickering and insubstantial. You try to anchor yourself to these old markers, but they offer no resistance. They are hollow. You feel the ground beneath you shift, not because it is breaking, but because you finally see it was never solid to begin with. The walls you thought were protecting you were never there. You are not sad. You are not angry. You are simply hollowed out. You have stepped outside the system, and the silence that follows is absolute. The things that once defined your worth now feel like dust in your hands. You are standing in the open, exposed to the vastness. You are untethered from the world, floating in the space where the rules no longer apply. You look at the labels you once used to navigate the world. Good, bad, right, wrong. They are not etched into the stars, nor are they written in the laws of physics. They are merely tools, hammers, and nails, used by society to manage the chaos of human behavior. You see them for what they are: administrative shortcuts, designed to keep the machine running, to keep the herd moving in a straight line. This realization is a blade. It cuts through the fabric of your social identity. If these truths are manufactured, then the entire structure of your life rests on a foundation of convenience, not conviction. You feel the danger of this thought. It threatens to dismantle the architecture of everything you know. Your pulse quickens. You take a step back toward the path, your hand reaching for the safety of the illusion, trembling as you realize how easily you could bury this truth. You stop. Your hand, reaching for the safety of the old path, freezes in midair. You do not turn back. You pull your hand away from the illusion and plant your feet firmly on the edge of the void. The urge to run, to hide, to bury the truth, it fades, replaced by a sudden, chilling clarity. You look out into that vast, empty space and see it for what it truly is: a blank canvas for your entire life. You have been a character in a play written by others, reciting lines you did not choose, moving through scenes you did not build. That play has ended. The stage is bare. The audience is gone. You stand alone in the silence, and for the first time, you feel the weight of the brush in your hand. You are the author now. You look at the blank space, and you know that every stroke you make defines your existence. The silence shifts. It is no longer just empty. It is expectant. A figure emerges from the periphery of your vision, not a man of flesh, but a presence carved from the same void you inhabit. Friedrich Nietzsche stands beside you, his gaze fixed on the horizon, where the old gods once held court. Watch them fall. One by one, the pillars of ancient certainty buckle and shatter. The sky, once crowded with divine mandates and inherited laws, clears. What remains is a vacuum, a terrifying low-pressure zone that pulls at your very marrow. You feel the sudden, violent absence of gravity. The structures that held the world together have dissolved, leaving behind a raw, unshaped potential. The air crackles with the energy of a power outage. This is not a tragedy of loss. It is the birth of a vacuum. Nature abhors it, but you are the force meant to fill it. You reach out, your fingers brushing against the cold, thin air, and you feel the resistance of the void yield to your touch. It is waiting. It is hungry. The vacuum does not demand obedience. It demands an architect. You draw a breath, and the void draws with you, waiting for the first mark of your will to define the new world. The seeker dies in the silence. You feel the final tether snap, the last lingering desire for a pre-written destiny falling away into the abyss. You are no longer waiting for a sign. You are the sign. Every movement you make now carries the weight of an absolute beginning. You look at the concept of love, once a duty imposed by tradition, and you dismantle it. You take the raw, unformed energy of your own heart, and you shape it. You define what love is, not by what you were told, but by the specific, tangible acts you commit to. You choose the person, you choose the depth, you choose the sacrifice. It is an aggressive act of self-definition. Then you turn to your passions. They are no longer distant goals or societal milestones. They are the tools you use to carve your mark into the void. You pursue them with a singular, relentless focus. You do not ask for permission. You do not seek validation from the empty horizon. You simply act. You build. You create. The work you do, the life you lead, the choices you solidify, they are the only reality that exists. You are not fulfilling a cosmic plan. You are inventing the plan as you walk. The void is no longer a threat. It is the raw material for your own architecture. You stand tall, your hands steady, and you begin to construct the world you intend to inhabit. You are the architect, and the first stone is laid by your own hand. The void is not a tragedy. It is an invitation. You feel the heavy, rusted chains of expectation drop from your shoulders, hitting the ground with a sound that echoes into the silence. For years, you carried the weight of scripts written by hands you never knew. You followed paths that led only to the comfort of others. Now, you reach into the air and tear those scripts to pieces. Watch the fragments drift into the abyss. They are weightless. They are meaningless. You are no longer bound by the rules of a game you never agreed to play. This is the ultimate liberation. It is cold, it is vast, and it is entirely yours. You stand at the edge of the cliff, and for the first time, the wind does not push you. It waits for your direction. You are not limited by a destiny you did not choose. You are not defined by the accolades or the approval of ghosts. You have shattered the cage of shared purpose. The silence is no longer a scream. It is a canvas, blank and infinite, stretching out before your feet. You take a step forward, not into the unknown, but into the absolute freedom of your own making. The question shifts. It is no longer why you are here, but what you will do with this existence. You hold the brush. You face the canvas of the void. You decide what is valuable. You decide what is worth your time. You decide what matters. This is the final responsibility of the free. Perhaps life has no meaning. Perhaps it never did. But that does not make it empty. It makes it yours. You are the architect of your own reality. In the silence of the universe, your choices are the only voice that truly matters. You look at the horizon, no longer searching for a hidden script, but seeing only the space you must fill. You pick up the tools of your own will. You strike the first blow against the silence. You build a structure of your own design, brick by brick, choice by choice. You define the shape of your days. You define the weight of your actions. You are the author, the creator, and the final judge. The void is not a trap. It is the foundation. You stand in the center of your own creation, breathing in the cold, thin air. In the end, you are the only one who can build the world. So, you step forward, and you begin to build.